I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Bootz Sports Show. I'm your host, Uncle Bootz, and I know I'm coming at you a little late. Had a lot of things going on, but I'm still in my cowboy mode, so hopefully Cowboy Nation is out there listening. And we'll talk a little bit about the pregame. This game between the Cowboys, the Dallas Cowboys, and the Kansas City Chiefs. Arrowhead Stadium. A lot of history involved with these two teams. But this is a game that a lot of you Cowboy fans, like myself, might be a little worried based on some things that we've seen last year. And we'll talk a little bit about that. And I'll try to make this a quicker show because it's coming at you late. So I'll try to get it out to you guys as soon as I can. The first thing I want to do, though, before, like I do every show, I want to thank the guys over at your daily CowboysFootballFix.com. Once again, Cowboy fans, I definitely suggest you take a look at it. The fellas, my friends, family, my Cowboy compadres, if you will, over there, they do a great job. Host the articles and Cowboy talk, and it's just good fans to be around during game day and talk football with. So going forward with this game, if you've been a fan of this team, even just for the last 3 years, let's just say you just happened to become a Cowboy fan for 3 years, you've been used to mediocrity. This team has kind of won and then lost and then won and then won two and then lost two. We've kind of been very, very, very average, over the last few years. The thing that scares me about this matchup on the road is the Cowboys have yet to prove to us fans that we are different than an average team or better than an average team. Now, you know my stance. If you've been listening to my previous shows here on the Bootz Sports Show, this is a turn the corner kind of make or break year for the Dallas Cowboys. I really feel like this is the year the Cowboys are going to turn that corner and show, and Tony Romo, and show the world that we are going to be a threat. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to win a championship. Doesn't mean we're going to the Super Bowl. But it can include all of that. It can include championship contender. It can and should include multiple playoff wins. So that should not be shocking to anybody if we achieve those goals with the talent and coaching staff that we have on this roster. It shouldn't shock you because that's what's expected. That's what Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboy brass expects of this organization and this staff this year. And I do too, wholeheartedly. So, in order to do those things, you have to beat teams you're supposed to beat. In order to Jason likes to stack days. Jason Garrett talks about the process, likes to stack days. And it's a great approach, not just football, but for life. It's a great approach to take one day at a time. I have a lot of friends that I sometimes administer, administer some of my feelings about things and helping them get through some things. And I believe that sometimes we look too far ahead instead of just looking at what's in front of us. Like, I don't care about week 15, week 16. Somebody said to me the other day, Cowboy fan, did you take a look at down the stretch with these games? Look at this stretch here. Let's just worry about the Kansas City Chiefs. So we're going to focus on that right now. To me, the Dallas Cowboys have to win a game like this. There's no option. This team won 2 games last year. Let's not forget that. This was a 2-win football team. They had the 2nd pick overall in the draft, in the NFL draft. So that is one thing that is true. Now, they did bring in some other parts, namely the head coach in Andy Reid, who basically made a living off of beating the Cowboys. Kind of cut his teeth into the league on beating the Dallas Cowboys. And Alex Smith, bringing him at the quarterback position, getting him from the San Francisco 49ers. These are things that they lacked. Coaching and quarterback, the Kansas City Chiefs. They now have that. Okay? They have a very, very good defense. A lot of skilled players out there on defense. And you could probably make an argument that they have a better defense than ours. You could make that argument. And when you think about this team was a 2-win football team. Now, of course, the Chiefs aren't going to scare you. But remember this stat. And this is a very interesting stat that I was able to pick up. Since 2003, so 10 years, every single year in the National Football League, there's been at least one team that went from worst or last place in a division to first place the following year. That trend is a 10-year trend. So a team that finished last, like the Kansas City Chiefs, ended up finishing first the following year. That's mind-boggling that that stat is 10 years strong to me. So this could be that team. This could be that football team that is going to make that move from worst to first. Now, the Dallas Cowboys can do some things here to slow that goal of theirs to get out of the basement, but they're going to have to overcome a very good defense. Now, let's talk about how offensively the Kansas City Chiefs are a dink and dunk team. And it's not necessarily by design, because Andy Reid wasn't so much of a dink and dunk team when he had a big arm quarterback like Michael Vick or like Donovan McNabb. But Alex Smith has deficiencies. Alex Smith is not a very good deep ball thrower. So those throws that you saw last week, like Eli Manning was out there throwing the ball deep, blown coverages, busted coverages, guys doing salsa dances in the end zone. That's not this guy's style. However, he is a very good short to intermediate thrower. So Alex Smith will throw those slant routes. He'll throw, those post routes. He'll throw some skinny posts. He'll throw a lot of flares, a lot of check downs. And one thing that people will fall asleep, this guy will lull you to sleep, but he can also run. He's a good runner. So those are threats that they can cause. They have a dynamic running back. Jamal Charles, we had a chance to draft this kid. And I remember in the draft, people were saying, oh, he's a track guy running football, or he couldn't catch the ball. All these things, all the things they said he couldn't do, this kid Jamal Charles does. He's one of the best. He's one of the best football running backs in the league today. The best. One of the best. So that'll be a challenge stopping this guy. Now, the way they like to use him, or the way that I can give credit to the NFL Games on Demand, Dallas Cowboys on the site. They had there was a package on the site that I subscribed to that allowed me to watch the coaches' film and watch all the different and this is a great way to watch the games, see the different angles that. But you can go watch the game on NFL Games on Demand, the NFL Rewind. NFL Rewind. So I was able to watch that game a few times, and I like the way they get him out in space. They'll bring Jamal Charles out wide, and they threw a slant route to him that I had to rewind 5 or 6 times because it is a phenomenal route and catch. And we saw what beat us this week, what scared us this week, what scared us in the Oakland game, preseason game, was the slant route. For some reason, our guys sag way far off and they bend the route too much and they don't tighten it up. And this guy will throw slants because he doesn't have the arm. If he throws a deep ball down the field, that ball's going to hang up there and it's going to be a duck and it's going to be an interception. But he's very confined in his passing, Alex Smith. So the Dallas Cowboys are going to have opportunities to make plays, and they won't have to worry about the deep ball so much. But we're going to have to keep the play in front of us. So, now what scares me about this team is their defense. The Kansas City Chiefs have some good players on defense. Their secondary is is, to me, it's a very, very solid secondary. Two very physical, good corners in Sean Smith and also Brandon Flowers. A kid who when he came out, I thought he was the #1 corner in the draft. That was one of my favorite corner. I liked the way he played the game. Also, Eric Berry. I'm a Tennessee Volunteers fan, and Eric Berry, could have been a corner or a safety. He is a very dynamic player. That back four that they have is as good as it gets. It's as good as it gets. When you talk about length, when you talk about being physical, and you talk about covering. Now, this could benefit the Cowboys. And you're probably saying, well, what do you mean? You just said they have a great secondary. Well, the Giants knew they were deficient in their secondary, so they played a lot of double. They doubled Dez. They doubled. Or even triple. Sometimes they'll shade the linebacker under, and they'll play Dez with 3 guys and take him and isolate. And they took Dez away from us, and that's NFL teams can do that. You've seen it happen to Calvin Johnson last week too. If a team wants to take you out, they'll take you out, and you won't catch but 2 balls for 22 yards or 3 balls for 38 yards. That's it. The Giants knew they didn't have the secondary to man up. The Kansas City Chiefs will feel like they have the secondary to man up, because Brandon Flowers will probably say, and they'll probably feel that he can cover Dez with some help. Nobody plays a whole game. Even Revis, when he was primetime Revis before his injury, he wasn't playing every single game without some help. Very rarely help, but not without some help. So they'll probably play Dez and Miles straight up. And that's when you get opportunity. Because, like I said, if they want to take Dez out, they'll take him out. So we got Witten. You got some tools, some parts here that we can kind of, if they decide to go that route and single up our guys, there will be opportunities for plays. Here's where this is, and this is an intriguing matchup for me, because I've already become a big Travis Frederick fan, and I can't wait to see him and Poe match up, because this is a big load. Dontari Poe out of Memphis, a big monster of a man. I think he ran a 4.7 40-yard dash, 350 pounds, just a monster, powerful guy. And a lot of rumors when he came out of the draft last year said that the Cowboys were in love with him. Now, the Cowboys signed him as a free agent. Some of you might not remember, but Ron Leary played tackle for Memphis and went against him in practice on in a daily basis. So there should be some familiarity with Leary, Poe in college. Plus, we were probably big on and let's think about this. Poe would have been this year. Poe would have been a crucial part of our defense, because if you watch him on tape, he gets a very, very good push. Now, I didn't like Poe coming out, because I didn't like the fact that he only had 1 sack the last year he was in school. I didn't like that. I didn't like, how could you be this massive, this fast, this strong, and only have 1 sack? Well, let me tell you something. This guy is a tough, go after it every single down player. It's going to be interesting to see how they block him. Now, I'm sure he'll get doubled and he'll get help, I'm sure, because I believe that Brian Waters will make his start. There's no way, or maybe not start. If he doesn't start, he'll come in and at least fill in and play a large role. But there's no way the team that didn't want to re-sign you, there's no way you don't come back and stick it to him. No way. So he's going to play out there, and he'll help Frederick in this game keep the front line under wraps, because they get a really good push. So I can't wait to see that front line battle. That front line battle is going to be very, very good to watch. I believe in order for the Cowboys to be who we think they are, I believe they have to beat a team like this. And unfortunately, the Cowboys have been so inept over the last few years that they have to win games like this. They lost the Seattle game last year, week 2, after beating the Giants. And don't get me wrong, when you watch that game, I don't care how many times you watch that Seattle game and what you thought about Seattle, that was a playoff team that we lost to. They were a better football team. And I remember fighting and arguing with fans I used to do this show on another broadcast on Podbean, and everyone was saying we lost to a bad football team. And I said, I don't know what film you watched, but that football, and I knew nothing about Russell Wilson, what he would do in the pros. I knew nothing about those guys, their defense. I said, that team we lost to, it doesn't get much better than that. I don't feel bad about losing that game. Now, the timing was bad because we just beat the Giants. They just won the Super Bowl. We come up and beat the Giants, and then we go out and lose to Seattle. In Seattle, good luck playing them, beating them at home. This is not a Seattle team. Now, the environment might be very similar. Arrowhead, trying to win out there, one of the hardest, toughest places, loudest places in sports to play and win. But I got confidence in this staff and his team at that preparation. We've been doing a pretty good job with preparation. I feel like we can go in, and I think we can steal a win here. I don't think Alex Smith is going to be able to listen, Eli Manning has been around the block. He's made plays in the Super Bowl. He's made plays on the road, that 2007 on the road all the way through. He made every big play that there was to be made. Alex Smith doesn't have that paper trail. He's not Eli Manning. Alex Smith is going to get out on the perimeter. We may not have a sack this week. We might have 1 or 2 sacks. It might be very low. He's going to get out on the perimeter. He's going to roll out. He's going to throw play action passes. We stunk against play action passes against the Giants. Those are things we'll have to clean up, and they're going to have to clean that up quick because you play action as a linebacker, and I watched the linebackers against Eli Manning. And the first time he did that play action, I mean, every backer we had on the field went up to play the run, and he dropped back and threw the ball deep. We're going to try to contain this Jamal Charles. Part of that is going to be you're going to give up plays when you try to play the run hard. You're going to give up play action plays. This guy doesn't have the arm that Eli has. He doesn't have the accuracy, the deep ball accuracy that Eli has. He doesn't have that. So I feel really good about them when they have the ball. I just need our offense, who only scored 2 touchdowns this week, 6 turnovers. Our offense only scored 2 touchdowns. I need our offense to produce again, and it's a tough task. I'm going to tell you, when you see the push, when you see that push that they get, those guys, they got a kid out there, Justin Houston, I think. This kid is a terror. A terror. I think he had 3 sacks this week. This team is going to come out and give us everything. But I think that our team is built for this right here. I think the organization is built for this type of football. So I want to see Anthony Spencer coming in and getting 22, 23 plays, whatever he's getting. I want to see Brian Waters, who is going to be a very, very big addition to our offensive line. He is going to be. There's no way this kid sits here against a team who didn't want to bring him back. There's no way. Who felt that they moved on. This kid wants to prove to that organization. And by the way, Brandon Carr doesn't hold any ill will towards the Kansas City Chiefs because he wanted to be a Cowboy his whole life. He took that Cowboy deal. The Chiefs knew that they didn't have a chance. This kid grew up wearing a Cowboy jersey. The Cowboys came calling. He wasn't going back to Kansas City. So Brandon Carr, these guys want to go back and they want to show the organization that they did right. That they were still good football players, So I think this Cowboy team's going to go out there. And I think they're going to represent and win. And I think they're going to represent Cowboy Nation when they do it. I think they're going to be successful. I think Tony Romo's going to take some hits. I think there's going to be some personal fouls because these guys are going to try to hit Tony late and we're going to keep these drives going. And I think some of these young kids like Terrence Williams are going to start to grow before your eyes. I think it's a Dez got to show up. He's got to show up. He's got to be bigger than the triple team, the double team. He's got to be bigger than that. Definitely got to beat man coverage, single coverage. We got to beat it. We got to attack them. we need DeMarco Murray. And then the X factor is going to be Lance Dunbar. I think he's going to have a couple plays where Derek Johnson, their middle linebacker, who I think is probably the most underrated linebacker in football. You know, he came out of Texas. He's always in on the play. Watch him against the Jacksonville Jaguars. He very rarely got fooled. He was very good. The guy's still playing. He's been playing in the league for a minute now. I mean, he was a player that when he came out in the draft, a lot of us Cowboy fans wanted a guy like Derek Johnson. We were struggling at linebacker. So it's going to be a battle. It's going to be good. But I think the Cowboys are should be 10 points better than this team. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be close for a while, and then the Cowboys will pull away with this game on the road. But the key is get the crowd out of it early. If you got a chance to go up 2 scores or go up 10 points, take the crowd out of it. Go out there and make some plays. I believe the Cowboys will win this week, so I will think that they'll have to earn it. If they lose this game, because this can happen, if they lose this game, I think the floodgates are open for every piece of criticism that's out there. Whether it's on Romo, whether it's on DeMarco Murray, the defense, the coach, the owner, I think this is a must-win game. Get to 2-0, win a quarter of the games that you won last year in the second week, put back-to-back stack wins together. Back-to-back wins. Take care of business on the road, and I think it'll definitely show us that this team is a different football team. And realistically, guys, that's all we really want to do is prove to everybody this year is a team. This is the turn the corner year where I think the Cowboys are starting to put it together. They gotta win this game. No excuses. When we do this show again, the post-game show, I'll do it Sunday since our game is at 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. We'll talk about all the differences, what happened, what we got wrong, what we did right. Guys, definitely subscribe to my page. Hit the thumbs up button, the like button on the page, especially if you liked it. If you didn't like it, I don't care if you hit the thumbs down button. Just make sure you comment. Let me know how you feel about it. And I will be seeing you shortly because I have a feeling we're going to get this W. Once again, don't forget to check out yourdailycowboysfootballfix.com. I'm your boy, Uncle Bootz. I'm out of here. Let's go, Cowboys.